Good morning, everybody. Thought I'd get the orange and green lights on. It's Halloween. Anyway, welcome to the morning live show. We're going to run through the latest news. Unusually, Ruben Amorim did his press conference yesterday. So we've got all the quotes from the press conference. Why is that? Just wanted to be better prepared. Give himself Friday off from media duties. Kind of makes more sense when you think about it. Or maybe it's just because the game's on Saturday, so it's a day earlier. I don't know. Anyway, going to run through Ruben Amorim's sort of tactical breakdown of what he's expecting against Forest. I think we all know exactly what we're expecting against Forest. Let me turn that up a little bit. I think that's a little bit better. Yeah, good. We'll also then run through Martinez being back in full training, everything we know team news-wise, and there's going to be a few sort of conversations we have this morning. And as always, you get involved in the chat. Should be a fun one. As always, let's see who's here from the mods and the members gang. Let's get on with today's show. Yeah, green and orange. I thought is that the most appropriate Halloween colours? I think so. Let me see. Good morning to you, Steph. Nice to see you there. We've got Carl. We've got Josh. We've got Ian. Alex, I think I saw you there as well. We've got some members. We've got Teresa. We've got Wolfie the Goat. It's interesting, eh? I like it. We've got Vince. We've got Lyle. We've got Freddie and Rofi. And also got some gifts here this morning. Look at that. To kick it off. Some Halloween gifts. Shax and Captain Stakebait gifting 5 memberships each. Good morning to both of you. Legends. And to Dean as well. You sent a super chat. What you're asking. And hi, Sam. Any thoughts on the in-depth videos on academy players when you have a bigger team? Loving the progress you're making. Thank you very much, Dean. You've been a big supporter for a long time. Academy players, we would like to... We've already been doing some. We've done one on Shay Lacey, who was also in training again yesterday, by the way. And who else have we done them on? I can't remember. We'd like to do some videos on Harry Amass's season on loan at Sheffield Wednesday. Radek Vitek at Bristol City. Who else? Maybe Toby Collier at West Brom. How are they getting on? Not sure if those videos themselves are enough to carry through for a full video. So we're trying to figure out the best way to do it. But that's sort of in the pipeline. I promise you that. We're doing it. We're thinking about it. But yeah. Should we get on with today's show? I want to start off with something which I think was extremely powerful yesterday. If you've not seen this, this is the latest Overlap episode. And this is Paul Scholes speaking about his son, Aiden. And if you don't know, Aiden has autism and it's non-verbal. And it's quite a severe case. And this is just Paul speaking honestly with Gary and with Roy about, well, just watch this little 30-second clip. And I just want to have a conversation about it.
Like I said, I even thought if I did speak to somebody, it's not going to well paid. Do you know what I mean?
It helps you.
It helps you. I don't think it would. I don't know what would help me.
Yeah.
The big concern, obviously, now, because you're getting a bit older,
yeah.
50 years of age, he's 20. What happens when you're not here? That's the thing that's on my mind now all the time.
Don't look that far ahead, Scholesy, man. Day at a time. Serious. We all look too far ahead.
Yeah, but we're talking about different scenarios.
I know, but you said it's the same principles.
If it hadn't been talked about, I wouldn't have thought about it. But there are certain times of the week where
just hits you.
It's basically in the podcast, Paul was speaking about stuff that he doesn't ever speak about. If you haven't watched it, it's a pretty powerful interview. And Paul was explaining how he's sort of stepping away from punditry to focus on his own family. And it's quite a powerful interview, really. Like, you can see the emotion in Paul's face. And like, there's going to be quite a few of you in the chat like that don't remember Paul Scholes as a player. He was silent. Like, no one, like Paul never really, I'm not sure he ever really did a bloody post-match interview. It was just all about his football. And I've openly sort of criticised Paul's approach in punditry sometimes because he's very, very blunt, very, very direct, and I'm not sure whether that helps too much. But this is completely separate to that. Like Captain Stakebait, you're saying down there, you're saying you've got 2 children yourself, you've got one with autism, one severe, and I totally understand, and the help is limited. Even whilst I was a serving soldier, I didn't get much help. I've also got 2 friends who were trying their best to Because if I remember correctly, to be able to get access to some certain levels of help within the government, you have to do a test where you find out, I suppose it's measured. I don't know the ins and outs of it, about how severe it is, the case with your child. And if you don't have that test and you can't get access to the help, but to get that test, it takes months and months and months to go through a waiting list. And if you do it privately, the results from that test aren't recognised. And it was all sort of mad stuff going on. And then she ended up doing an interview, I think, with the BBC. And then as soon as that went out, the next day the council got involved. And all of a sudden, things will change. I thought it was a pretty powerful interview. And then he posted on Instagram as well today. He said this. He said, would just like to thank everyone for all your kind messages since the overlap interview regarding Aiden. There's been loads, and I tried to read as many as possible. The response from families, especially dads, shows how much speaking about it helps so many. There was one quote from a parent in a similar position that's just got me. My job is to stay alive for one day longer than my son or daughter. And it's just, it's an extremely vulnerable position to put yourself in for Scholes to speak like that openly on a podcast. But by doing so, he will help others be able to speak out and maybe get some, I don't know what, getting some help's the wrong way to describe it. But yeah, I just wanted to speak about it this morning. I thought it was definitely a conversation that we should have at the start of the show. And I can see down here in the chat that it's closer to home with quite a few of you than I realised. Because I don't know about your stories. But you all tune in with us every day. So yeah, I say well done to Paul for speaking about it so openly there. Eden saying, great pod yesterday. Thank you very much, dude. Scholes, a top man. Took a lot for him to talk about. Was clearly a very personal and difficult thing. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Right. Let's move on. And I wanted to, Eden, you've just mentioned the pod there. I want to say, again, just a big thank you to everybody who's listening, to everyone who's leaving a comment, to everyone who's getting involved in the mailbag. To start this podcast was a long time in the making because I didn't just want to release a podcast that was exactly the same as everything that already existed. I didn't want to release something that is kind of the same bit of content that we're doing here. And that's why I'm really happy with what we've come out with. We're going to try and improve it and make it better each week. What I want to do is sort of bring some clips into it. So maybe some press conference clips or things that we can speak about. And that's something that we want to do. Maybe level up the quality of the production. Week on week, we're going to be doing that, all right? So thank you all for watching that yesterday or listening to that yesterday. And also, you know what's really interesting here? I'll give you a little bit of insight into my thought process. We did the Carlos Baleba video, and I always told you that we're going to be doing the Elliot Anderson video. I'm going to switch to normal white lights now. Studio's back. All right. But it is Halloween. Maybe we'll switch back. We did the Elliot Anderson video yesterday. And I just think it's really interesting the fact that just under 1/3 of people who watched the Baleba video watched the Anderson video. And I think I've already said this to you before, but to me, Elliot Anderson kind of strikes me as what Declan Rice was at West Ham. Not the season where Arsenal signed him, but the season before. And maybe this is going to be that season. I don't quite know. But I just found it interesting that maybe it's because people don't feel that it's a sexy enough name, like Carlos Baleba or Adam Morton. It's going to be one of those two. I just found it interesting, is all. I hope you enjoyed the video. As I said, this is a new series on this channel that we've started. Last week was Baleba. This week was Anderson. Next week, probably going to be Adam Wharton. I think the week after that, it's probably going to be Angelo Stiller. And then the weeks after that, we can sort of cast the net a bit wider. I told you we want to be doing one on Bouadi from Lille and maybe some other youngsters that we can take a look at. But if you haven't watched it, go and watch that video. I guarantee you'll learn a thing or two about Elliot Anderson. I certainly did. He's far more all-rounded than I realised as a player. right? Someone down there saying, just get me a central midfielder who can replace Casemiro in what he does on the pitch. Casemiro's having a cracking season, to be fair. Dokam saying Anderson's by far the top performer of the three. If we can get the next Declan Rice, it will boost us. I'm not here saying that, so please don't put words in my mouth. I'm not saying that Anderson is the next Declan Rice. I just think it's that the club he's playing for, the position he's at, how people are looking at him, how people are looking at options, how people look at how much he's worth and what level he's at. I can see parallels between Anderson and Rice. And the fact that he's broken through into the England team kind of only helps him. I want to quickly mention what we got. A couple of things before we then go into, basically we'll speak about the Forest game for the majority of the show today. Like this lad, like Sonny Lomans is speaking about United Strand. You know who he is. Not cutting his hair until United have won 5 games in a row. And I've seen like Diogo Dalot speaking about him. I'm now seeing Senny speaking about him. I don't know whether Ruben Amorim has been asked about it. I don't know. Like, my honest take on this lad, right? We obviously saw what happened at Old Trafford a few weeks ago. Some whopper put in his hair. I think he ended up getting indefinite ban from United. I don't think that this lad's a bad guy, right? I think he started this with, fun intentions. But he has now become a symbol of United's crapness. And that is why the sort of how a lot of United fans are looking at him differently. It's a very visual representation of how bad Manchester United have been, and it's something that other rival fans can then use to point and laugh at our football club. That's why it feels different. I don't particularly mean, I don't think that this guy started with any bad intentions, but because it's gone on for so long, it's morphed a little bit, I suppose. Did anybody see that LinkedIn post that was going around on social? Like suggestions are like, if I was his brand manager. Man, I was cracking up. It was saying that you should get Sir Alex Ferguson to make the first cut. You imagine that phone call with Fergie. Alex, yeah, how you doing? Oh, yeah, nice to see you. Yeah, cracking week. Yeah, 3 wins. 5 wins in a row, actually. Yeah, so we've got this lad who hasn't cut his hair for like 400 days because United haven't won 5 in a row. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah. But do you fancy coming to Old Trafford and cutting his hair? It's funny, man. I also don't think that this lad expected that to go on as long as it has. And you can't really back out of it by this point. Anyway, I just wanted to say that. Carl saying, do you think the club will take advantage and get one of the players to cut his hair? No, I do not think that is going to happen. I don't think the club should. They have got a new bloody barbershop. I mean, will they? Will they invite me in? I hope they don't. Anyway, let's move on to some good news here because we've got some back-to-back bang award nominations. Brian Mbeumo nominated for the Player of the Month. Let me drop the link down here because make sure you get your voting, all right? Who's he up against? Matty Cash. Let me zoom in on you for that. Krupi, Haaland, Guimaraes, Cash, Mbeumo, Mukiele, Thiago, and Timber. It's got to be Brian's all day, right? And then on top of that, bam. Let me zoom in on that. Ruben has been nominated for Manager of the Month. And he's up against who? Arteta, Emery, and Iraola. I don't even know what the results of those clubs were. But that is the link to vote for the Manager of the Month. I've already voted for both. They're the links for both of them. Get your votes in. Because I need that picture. I want that picture. After the season that we've had and the month that we have just had, I want to see Mbeumo and Amorim standing there arm in arm holding their Player and Manager of the Month awards. It'll be a nice reflection of what has been a fantastic month for this club. When was the last time we said that? We've had fantastic weeks before. But then the roller coaster, straight up, straight down, straight up, straight down. It's just been a steady climb. Arteta will win. 3 goals conceded. Boo. Boo hiss. Who cares? I mean, I care. That's why I've asked you to do it. Let's see. Now, can we move? Actually, no, before we move on to the Forest game. Am I going to get shut down for copyright if I play that song? Maybe. So I'm going to play this instead. Nice and silent. But look who's back in training, baby. It has been some time we've waited for this. What is it? 10 months? Was the last time he played in February? I can't actually remember. I think it might have been February. Anyway. He's back in full training. Round of applause. Round of applause. Rex, I've put the links for both votes down there. So just scroll back through the chat. Martinez is back in full training. And it's been a long time coming. It really does feel that actually, like anybody who's in the chat and you've suffered like a proper ACL injury or like proper ligament injury, man, it takes time. It takes time. Like, have a look at this photo here. 1 sec. I should have pulled this up earlier. Let me quickly get it now. Can't get the staff these days. I know. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Right. This one here. Look at his knee. Can we zoom in on that? Look at the scars on that. That is a monster scar down there. And a monster scar there. You can see where the damage has been done. That knee has been through the ringer. And that's why it's taken him so long to get to this point. Boy, oh boy. I am fully gassed for his return. But, and this is obviously the correct thing to do. Like, Martinez wants to get back in there straight away. Like, chill your boots, man. Hold your horses. Slowly but surely, it feels... Now, I don't know whether I'm going over the top when I'm saying this, and you can let me know. It feels like Martinez has got one opportunity in front of him. I think the club knows that. I think deep down, that's his name. I think Martinez will know that. One opportunity in front of you, because like football's a brutal game. Like if he comes back and he comes back too soon now and he gets another injury, that's pretty much going to be the end of it, because United won't be able to wait any longer. So although you might be impatient, and you want to come back right now, it's like the slower you can do it, the better the chances of that opportunity working out for you. And I bloody want to work it. I want it to work out for him so badly. If he's fully fit, he's straight back in our starting 11. Rofi, you're saying you have your ACL and MCL and meniscus repaired. Took me 3 years to play football again. Probably shouldn't be playing football after those 3. I'll be totally honest. I still can't run properly, man, because my ankle got fused at a certain angle. Because my ankle's always like turn in like that. So the surgeon fused it that way. But because he's fused it so far outwards, when you put force through your foot and your knee, it should all be in a straight line. Mine's not. My knee, if you look at my knee and you look at where my toes are pointing, it's almost like I'm actively trying to point my foot outwards, but I'm not. It's just where my foot sits. So it means the whole running stride is completely and utterly ballsed up. Still working on that. I've got a treadmill now, though, so I can actually do some rehab every single day. It's just a life of rehab for me now. But I'll be honest, I quite like the lifestyle. I've always enjoyed being active. I've always felt that that's the best way for me to battle the condition that I've got. The more active you are, the slower that you can make the progression of the condition. Enough about me, though. Just please work out, right? He's not going to be in the squad against Forest. Could you see him in the squad against Spurs? I mean, in theory, you could. But why would you risk it? I'll be totally honest. Why would you? Like, if you're Ruben Amorim, or if you're... I know Lisandro Martinez will want to be in that Spurs squad, but mate, if you just miss these last 2 games, we won 3 in a spin. We're in a good moment. Like, the fitness seems to be there, and let's try and carry this through as a team for these first 5 games. And then you've got another 2 weeks. And then the next game's not, I don't think, until the 24th of November. So that's nearly another whole month of just working, full training, staying with the squad. I imagine Martinez probably goes away on international duty. What game, John, you put it down there. I've already asked this before, but I'll ask again. What game do you expect to see Lisandro Martinez back in a matchday squad? And let's quickly have a look at our next few games. Because it's going to be soon. Just don't know exactly when. Next few games. Forest, it's not going to happen against Forest. 1st of November. 8th of November against Spurs away, or Everton on the 24th, or Crystal Palace on the 30th. If I was to guess, it should be Everton, I think. It should be Everton. But it might be Spurs. I'd just rather not take that risk. Most of you are saying Everton down there after the international break. Kind of judging by what Ruben Amorim himself has said, he's not going to bring him back and rush him back for the Forest game. So that Everton game, anybody going to the Everton game? Let me know in the chat. That could well be his return. And was it February? I think it was February when he had the surgery. Yeah, Steve, it'll be at some point before Christmas. I imagine bring him in, like, you know, against Brighton. So, like, against Brighton, something that Ruben Amorim was able to do. It didn't work, but Nick on the pod made a really good point here. Like, you know how the subs against Brighton, the team changed after that. The mistake from Dorgu obviously directly impacted how the game went, but the subs weren't as good as the players that went off. But if you can't make subs, as a manager of a Premier League football team, when you're at home and you're 3-0 up and it's the 60th minute, like, you can never make subs. Seriously. You should be able to expect your players, your professional players, Premier League level players, to see that game out without any problems at 3-0. That's probably the situation that he wants for Lisandro Martinez. United to be playing Everton, to be 3-0 up after 60 minutes and bring him in. Just ease him in. Not a game where you need to really be stressed out at all, but a game where you can make your return. But as we showed against Brighton, you can't even rely on that. But at some point this season, I want to see that as our back 3. I mean, if you disagree with me, let me know. What do you think is our strongest back 3 on paper? Because for me, it's easily that. I do think there's a possibility this season that we see Luke Shaw at left wing back. I don't think that it would lead to masses of overlapping runs, but I think it might make United a better overall team in terms of control. And we're quite a right-heavy team anyway, because we've got Ahmad and Mbeumo. So that having Shaw and Cunha wouldn't offer that same sort of threat down the left-hand side. But right now, left wing-back is a bit of a weakness. Dorgu's having a very up-and-down season. I hate Delo playing there. And I want Martinez at left centre-back. So I think there's a chance that you might see Shaw going in at left wing-back at some point. But hard not to argue that back 3, someone says down there. That's a monstrous defence. Yoro Delict and Martinez. He'll be in the Everton squad, says Steve. Fred said, I've got a bad feeling about his return. There are serious. I've got massive reservations. I'm holding myself back. I know I'm excited about his return, but I suppose, is it the same sort of situation as, you know, when Luke Shaw returned from his like double leg break? And it took him, I can't remember what game it was, but there was a game where Luke Shaw went into like a crunching tackle and came out of it fine. I think after that, I was like, sweet. He's back in business. Obviously, we know that, everything that happened after that. But Martinez is probably going to be like that until he has one of those games where it's physical and he's crunching tackles. That's going to put everyone's minds at ease, and it'll probably put his mind at ease as well. Anti saying share left centre back with Heaven, just manage the minutes. It's good to see Heaven getting his first Premier League minutes, I think, against Brighton. Will we see Malacia get game time? I don't really know, dude. I'll be completely honest. If I've got doubts about Martinez's ability to come and return to United, I don't really know where I put Malacia. I don't know what he's capable of anymore. He's been in the gym so long, he's more of a bodybuilder than a bloody footballer. Because it's been that long since he's touched grass. Has he played with the under-21s yet? I imagine that's going to be the easiest way to actually get him some minutes. Someone down there saying the crowd actually cheered after that short tackle. I can't remember who it was, but I remember that. I remember that short tackle. Anyway, should we move on? Let's speak about the Forest game. I mean, we already kind of are speaking about the Forest game a little bit. Let's get your predictions in. I wonder what the predictions will be. I've got no idea. Predictions. Forest win. Draw. United win. Oh yeah, Malacia was on the bench against Brighton. There you go. He was with the under-21s before being called up. Well, there you go. He's been playing with the under-21s then. There you go. Wonder what the prediction's going to be down there. I wonder if the community is going to possibly predict United to win. I have no idea. I don't know why I do it. I do this every week because it's fun. But Forest, we know how they're going to set up. My start 11 video will be going out at 12 p.m. today, and I'll run through my team. But I thought this was an interesting, like a very actually, and that's not really that. Didn't really want to pull this one up. But this is just Ruben Amorim speaking about his time at United, speaking about his future as well.
Tough, good moments, bad moments. I learn a lot. That is really important. I found out that even in my lower moments, I can stick with the things that I believe, and that is a good thing to for anyone to understand that.
It's going to get shut down for copyright if I do that. It's just Ruben Amorim speaking. Again, isn't it amazing? We all saw that photo this week of him like putting up at Carrington to take a photo with a fan. He's there with like sunnies on, like looking like a rock star. It's amazing what a few wins can do to how you're feeling, to momentum around the club. But I thought this was in particular quite interesting. Sort of his breakdown of Forest, because it's absolutely bang on, right? It's here, look, I watched their last match. I watched the match against Porto and Bournemouth. The style of play is similar, different characteristics. Gibbs, White, Anderson, Hudson-Odoi, good players. It will be different from Brighton in terms of United how to approach this game, where we had space to play. We won't have that space. We need to understand that we are not the same team away from home. We are not the same team away and at home. So we must improve our way of controlling the environment. Every tackle is an important one. We must play better away. And we are ready for a difficult match. And that bit there about controlling the environment, I think is a good way to describe it. Forest are going to be up for it, man. Forest are in a war. They've had 3 managers this season. It's been turned upside down. And the only thing that they are hoping for now, let's not get relegated. So it is a proper siege mentality, and they've got the manager in that matches that. They're going to sit deep. They're going to sit. And I think probably the games where, and this is what I mean about each game is a new test, right? This really is a new test for United in these last few games. Sunderland at home didn't play like Forest are going to play. Neither did Liverpool, and neither did Brighton. Against Forest, we're probably going to have more than 50% possession, which we haven't actually had in these last couple of games. We've been better with less of the ball because we can play faster. We can play not just specifically transitional, but it suited United. It's worked for United. So going up against Forest, where we have to play a very different game, it's going to be about a lot of patient build-up. Like, how do you see the game playing out? I can see 89% of you think United will win, but like, how do you see the game playing out? Because it's very much one of those games where it could easily start. United have got the ball, control in the first 15 minutes, but we only end up having like one half shot on goal because they're so deep in their box defending that we can't get a decent shot off. Could happen. And when that happens, and then you end up having loads of possession, it's these games where United have fallen down on. Derek saying, do they have anything to lose to try and go all out? Going all out for Sean Dyche is a very different going all out to what you've got in your head. Going all out as a United fan is like kitchen sink throwing every attacker forward. That's not going to happen. Going all out for Sean Dyche is 9 players inside your own 18-yard box and 1 person up there for the counter. It's not going to be Chris Wood, by the way. He's missing the game. Wheezy saying we really need to try and score first. That's a big, big thing. Like the first goal, yeah. Do you say this in every game in football? Probably. But the first goal in this game is going to be huge. If you give it to Forest, all they have to do is stay inside their own 18-yard box for the rest of the game. This is the most dangerous Forest that you could play. The most dangerous Sean Dyche team you can play. Someone down there saying, I think it won't be a lot of goals. Pretty sure Forest have been conceding a fair amount. This is the sort of game where you see Cunha and Šeško shine down there. What do you think? Predictions in, right? What's your front 3 prediction? Not what you want to see. What you think Ruben Amorim's going to play. Do you think we see Šeško, Cunha and Mbeumo? Or do you think we see Mason Mount come into the team? I think that's one of the questions for the starting 11. Cunha's goal is hopefully a good example of how we can break teams down. Quick switch of flank, says Zuba. I wouldn't say that was too much of a quick switch of flank, actually. I'm going to disagree on that one. Casemiro won the ball high up on the edge of the box. There was just one pass and he was just in space on the edge of the box rather than any sort of switch of play. And saying mid-block, draw them out. Tactical masterclass. Like, you really think you're going to be able to draw a Sean Dyche team out? It's probably the complete opposite. Sean Dyche's tactics are going to draw the players in. They're going to be instructed not to get drawn out. Don't run to the ball. Hold your shape. Wait for them to come to you because they will come to you. And when they come to you and they're in your zone, that's when you trigger. They're going to have like press triggers. I don't think they're going to be sucked into following the ball around. They'll just let United have it. I get a sneaky suspicion that he might put Mount in. Sneaky suspicion, but I don't know. Rex, you're saying Cunha, Šeško and Mbeumo. We need Šeško in this match more than ever before, says Dan. I really want to bloody see Mbeumo in swingers. Šeško and Cunha at the back post. I really want to see it. And I might even put a cheeky tenner on Casemiro scoring a header in this game. Nico saying Mount would help with the control, but we need a Šeško to be able to do something with any balls in the box. Well, Mount would certainly help with the second balls, winning the second balls. It's probably one of the biggest strengths of his game, I think. Need that player to hold the ball up top. Again, it's not going to be that sort of game, I don't think. I don't think United will need to particularly play it long in this game. There's not going to be like, obviously there's going to be some pressure on it. They're not going to like give up the whole pitch. But Sonny Lemons is not going to be like hounded down by 3 players and Forest trying to win the ball high, and that's just not going to happen. I would predict that there's going to be this lowest percentage of long kicks from Lemons in this game compared to Sunderland's, Liverpool and Brighton. I just don't think it's going to be that sort of approach. I think we're going to be given a lot more. I think we'll have more possession than any game in these last 3 games. I think there'll be less long kicks. And when you say it like that, maybe that's exactly why you don't play Šeško. It's an interesting one. Cunha, though. I look at Cunha, maybe not quite the same as a sort of match winner to Mbeumo right now. Let's be totally honest. Like, Mbeumo is the one who has been delivering. But I'm very much looking at Cunha as somebody who's going to either create or score that chance. He's one of the players I'm looking to unlock Forest. Whether that's a drive through a space, I don't know. Probably going to be quite difficult, I think, to dribble really through Forest because they're going to be so compact. I'd love some long shots in this game. I think that, Derrig, you just mentioned it down there. What is it? Cunha's got more goals from outside the box than any other player in the Premier League? I think so. Šeško had a bit of a reputation for that as well. Shots from distance, I'd take some of that. Sales has been a bit wibbly-wobbly as well this season. Cunha will be bang up for this game. Really bang up for this game, I think. Someone down there saying, I can see Ruben completely dismantling Forest quite early. A first goal was important. If we got that first goal, imagine this, you get the goal in the first, it's not going to happen, but you get the goal in the first minute in the same way we did against Liverpool, then the entire game plan for Forest switches and we can play exactly how we want to play. We can then, and you were talking about drawing them out. If you get an early goal and you play a mid-block, you do draw them out. So that's what I mean. The early goal completely changes how Forest want to play. And you take away their ability to do what they want. That early goal would change. If we score in the first 15 minutes, the whole tactical approach of this game changes. Great show, Sam, but you're falling into the trap of irritatingly repeating a quote. I'm really honest. Well, I'm being honest. I'm sorry about that. Sorry, Bob. Let me off. When we beat Forest, I'm getting my haircut, says Steve. Buzz cut. That's what I would love to happen. United to get a goal in the first 20, and then Forest's whole game plan goes out the window. They're going to have to come out because they can't just sit on the 1-0 deficit. You can't do that. If we concede early. Someone who trained this week again with the first team, Shay Lacey. Is that the third or the fourth? I don't know how many times now. But it's really good for him. I think if Shay had not had as many injuries as he has had in these last 2 years, I think you may already be seeing him in sort of a first team environment. He's obviously had a lot of injuries. But clearly Ruben Amorim and his staff have seen something. And if we're looking at opportunities, like Ruben Amorim spoke about, his favourite word, spoke about how United are going to suffer when Ahmad and Mbumo go to AFCON, which we will. In terms of academy players that slot in, it strikes me as the perfect player. And also Bendito Mantato. Those two players are probably the two that I would choose to say if there's going to be someone who gets an opportunity in the first team because Ahmad and Mbumo are gone, I would say Lacey and Mantato. It's not to say they're going to be playing. Not to say they're going to be starting. They might play. But I think the little pathway of an opportunity is there. Overy as well. Yeah, he's right wing back, right? But again, he's had bad injuries. That's why he's had bad injuries. Either way, it's good to see him training with the first team again. And Senny. How busy do you think that Senny's going to be on Saturday? I mean, I'm trying to think. So Forest 2 goals against Porto were both penalties, and then they lost 2-0. So they're yet to score from open play under Sean Dyche in 2 games. Presumably, Forest are going to be looking towards set pieces. And he was speaking, I can't remember, an interview with someone else, might have been a Belgian outlet. He was speaking about the biggest difference he's seen as a Premier League goalkeeper, and he's speaking about basically how goalkeepers aren't as protected on set pieces. He's like, I'm in the box, and someone's bloody pulling me, and then he's pulling there, but the ref doesn't blow up. Something that he's learned. I imagine something that he was told about before he came in. But so far, we spoke about this on the pod. And I was asking the lads, have we been better at set pieces this season? And then Dan swiftly reminded me about the first game of the season against bloody Arsenal and the second game of the season against Fulham, both with Bayindir in goal. Obviously, we conceded from the corner against Arsenal, and then Fulham, it felt like every single ball went over his head. Senny's definitely helped. Definitely helped. Helped me feel a bit more confident when we're defending set pieces, because I imagine Forest are going to be going for it. They've got Murillo. They've got Milenkovic. Luckily, Chris Wood's not playing. But they are going to hound him. Watch it. Anytime they have a set piece, Watch who's standing around Senny, because they're going to go for it. Anyway, that's just him speaking about the biggest difference that he's seen so far. Hopefully, again, like I'll say in every single game week, I hope we don't have to have a conversation about him. I hope he's a spectator. I hope he gets bored. Just starts kicking his boot against the post. Don't want him involved. Not really. But maybe he will be. Let me see what you're saying down there in the poll. Kel's surprise. 89% of you are saying a United win from 700 votes. Someone down there saying, I remember the stats saying Senny wasn't even a good claimer, but he's made a big difference. That was something that we covered in our video on him, saying that if you looked at Senny and you looked at how he was playing at Belgium, there was some hesitancy when it came to claiming crosses. And we didn't know whether that was a confidence thing or was it a technique thing. I didn't quite know. But I actually think that's one thing he's probably impressed me with the most. So that was a little bit unexpected from my perspective. I thought he was going to need a bit more time to get... I wasn't really worried about the shot stopping, the natural reflexes that he had, sort of the commanding of his area. But in terms of claiming crosses, I didn't know whether he was going to be able to do that straight away, and he definitely has. And that's been impressive. Right, what are we saying down here? Please make it 4. Right, somebody in the chat, tell me the last time United won 4 Premier League games in a row. Do you reckon AI knows that? Probably. When did Man United last win 4 Premier League games in a row? February 2024. Should we have a quick look at United's fixtures then? This will be fun. Man United results. 4 matches ago. So it was February 2024. Bloody hell. We has got to go back. Here. Was that Cobby? I imagine that was Cobby. No, wait. Is that right? Is that wrong? No. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. No, we lost against Fulham. That's a lie. Oh, no, Luton were in the Prem. Why? Forgot Luton were in the Prem. And then we lost against Fulham. So that's the last time we won 4 games in a row. Wolves away, West Ham at home, Villa away, and Luton away. Damn. Man, it's been a rough year to be a United fan. Let's be honest. Damn. So February 2024 was the last time we won 4 Premier League games in a row. And we're going to do it, hopefully, on Saturday. Someone's saying Newport and Luton don't count. Newport wasn't involved in that. Luton was in the Prem. So Luton does count. We're talking about Premier League games in a row. Wow. What's everyone getting up to this weekend? Come on. Anything fun? I'm hosting a Halloween party tomorrow night. Random question here, actually. I saw this. It's quite fun. What's your favourite horror film?
Your favourite horror film?
Scary movie. It's questionable. What's everyone's favourite horror film? Let me know in the chat. Ugarte, what's yours?
The Shining.
Shining.
Yeah, perfect. You don't really have one. But
It, right? Story about It. My sister still denies this. That she didn't make me watch it. Whatever. I think I was like 9, maybe 10, when I watched It. And I swear to God, I was terrified. I still don't particularly like clowns. But they ruined me. That film. It. The original, by the way. One with what's his face? I forgot his name. Who plays him? He's also in Home Alone 2. We're saying down here. The Exorcist, someone's saying. The Grudge. Terrible. Freddy Krueger. I never really watched Nightmare on Elm Street. Saw films. They were quite good. Ian, you're going to a parenting class so your baby can get baptized. Is that a horror film? Man United season review 24-25. You funny, funny man. Poltergeist. Oh, that one also ruined me. That was a scary one. Jeepers Creepers. Now we're talking. Jeepers Creepers was Tim Curry. Bloody Tim Curry, man. Anyone else remember Home Improvement? Come on. A lot of them. Anyone seen Weapons recently? I quite enjoyed that. It was a bit weird, but I enjoyed it. Welcome to Derry's on. I've not started watching that yet. I think I finished watching House of Guinness. The start of it was a bit whiffy, but as you got better as it went on. Old School Halloween. Damn. Old School Halloween. I watched that when I was younger as well. That wasn't good. Scream. Scream was more fun than scary. I Know What You Did Last Summer. That was a good one. I Still Know What You Did Last Summer. Also a good one. Bad way to go, that. Alien? That horror film? I suppose it's like sci-fi horror, right? Same Predator. Predator. Great film. By the way, today, everyone, 40th anniversary of Back to the Future coming out. Got to be watching that tonight. Come on. Man, not Back to the Future. I may or may not be dressing up as Marty tomorrow. Just saying. Just saying. Gremlins put me off horror film. Now I love Gremlins. Is Gremlins a Christmas film? Yeah, I think so. I love Gremlins. Right. Last couple minutes of the show. You know what? I don't know why I'm pointing over there. Pointing here. It's the map. Right? So let me know where you're watching from, the country and the city, and I will get you added onto the map. Last few, we've got Aachen in Germany. We've got Aalborg in Denmark. Aberdeen in the United Kingdom. Actually in Scotland. Aberystwyth in Wales. No, I'm not going to try and do Abidjan. No, I'll be close though. What are we saying down here? Blair Witch Project. Oh, that was a good one. Also scared me when I was a kid. Oh, what's the one? Oh, bloody hell, what's it called? One where they got to be quiet. A Quiet Place. I thought that was very good. And it's like a new take on a horror film. There's also one I've not watched yet. Random. I know I'm going back into horror films. But there's a horror film that I want to watch where it's from the perspective of the dog when the family gets like taken over and like possessed. But it's all from the perspective of the dog. Just thought it was, again, I like original ones. And there's another one I've not seen yet, but it's a horror film, like a slasher horror. But instead of it being like the victims and like, oh, it's from the like the first person of the killer who's going around. I haven't quite seen that one yet, but they're two I'm interested in because I like new takes on films that are kind of being repeated. Anyway, where are you? Let me see where you are. We've got YB Alex watching from Chisinau. Is that the capital of Moldova? I think it is. Do like a good European capital game. Get me in the pub quiz team for that bad boy. Don't know them all though. Oh, Candyman, that was a bad one. My sister used to be terrified of Candyman. Good, you terrified me with it. Piran in Slovenia. Never been there. I want to go back to Slovenia, man. I had such a good time there. It was beautiful. And PKTT watching from Columbus in Ohio. Franklin. All right. I know it's Texas, but that just came to my head. Right. Done. Map is done. The week is done with the live content. What we got playing this weekend? We have got a Start 11 video going out in about an hour. All right. That's going to be my prediction for the Forest game and everything else in between. Tomorrow at 3 p.m. kickoff, I'll have my match reaction, well, after the game. Sunday, we'll have what we learned. Hopefully after we make it 4 out of 4, and then we come back here on Monday fully refreshed off the back of United winning our 4th game, off the back of Liverpool losing to Villa, and United are in the top 4. That's what we want. All right? Have a cracking weekend, everybody. Thank you all for making this community what it is. I enjoyed that today. Have a cracking Halloween. If you're going trick-or-treating, enjoy it. Have a good weekend. Bye.